Even right now, I personally, I have a case that I've not had a chance to visit the bank for. Now, if you're not getting alert, how will you now know how much is left in your bank for you to now know how to manage your money?
Manage the money, yeah.
That's another problem. There's a very serious rising case of complaints about Nigerian banks. What do you have to say about this? What stops the Nigerian banks from sending their personnel for training? Welcome once again, and this is Noble TV Live. My name is Valentine Agogo, and I'm here on set today with Comrade Augustine Omilo. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Comrade. Now there is a major cause for concern right now in our banking sector. Yeah. There's been even right now, I personally, I have a case that I've not had a chance to visit the bank for, which a lot of Nigerians are suffering right now, where you have debit alerts without a proper transaction taking place through POS, and where people's accounts are being hacked on a daily basis, where you have uncountable debit alerts for different charges, charges for this, charges for that. You just be seeing the messages rolling in. You're wondering, how come they weren't charging me all these things before now, and the charges just started rolling in their numbers. You see, at the end of the month, you see some banks will just debit you 1,000 something and say it's account maintenance. What are you maintaining my account? Did you change the account location from Lagos to Abuja, or what am I doing? They are debiting me 1,000 plus. But not all Nigerians have the exposure to walk into banks or know who to meet. So there's a very serious rising case of complaints about Nigerian banks. What do you have to say about this?
It's quite unfortunate because it all boils down to the same thing a lot of persons are complaining. Well, people like us are complaining about, that is the instability in the banking sector, or the finance sector generally. You know, because what you just talked about is something that has brought to the fore the other issues surrounding the complaints people have been having in the banking sector. For instance, it was reported recently that about 6.8 million complaints were made against 6 banks, not all the banks in Nigeria. 6 banks.
6 banks alone has 6.8 million complaints.
Yes, in Nigeria. I don't want to mention the banks because the names were there in the paper.
Yes.
Yes. Now, out of this, you know, the monetary involvement in this one amounted to about 320 billion. Where collectively, from 6 banks.
6 banks.
Not all the banks in Nigeria. You know, we have more than 20 banks in Nigeria.
Yes.
So imagine what it would have been if other banks are considered. Now, if you look at the system, today, a lot of persons who believe in the growth of the economy are asking the government to encourage people to bank their money, because you know during the change of naira, you know the design of naira, they were saying some unbanked Nigerians, that people who don't go to bank, they were encouraging them to bring their money to the bank. Now, if you see what is happening in the banking sector now, it's like telling people who are already banking their money in the bank to take away their money.
Yes, I'm going to bury it somewhere.
It's safer.
Yes,
because look at some of the complaints. Apart from the one you just talked about now, some persons, they will go to POS, point of sale cashier withdrawals. You withdraw money, maybe let's say 10,000 now. The little girl or somebody who is there operating the POS will tell you that there was a return, that is a decline.
Yeah, decline.
And therefore, she cannot pay you.
And they'll print out a receipt for you with the decline.
You show it. As soon as you walk away from that place, you receive a debit alert. You go back to the POS operator, he said, no, he didn't receive. So what do? Go to your bank. And you get to your bank will say, give us 1 week. 1 week can turn to 3 months. And sometimes some person, you look at what is involved, maybe like 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, you say
5,000.
Yes, 5,000.
You just save yourself the stress and leave that.
It's not going there. There are some persons, you transfer money with your phone to somebody, you will not receive alert. The person will receive alert. Now, because you didn't receive alert, you may be wondering, maybe the money didn't go or something, the transaction was not successful. You transfer another one to the person. If the person is not honest enough to tell you that he has received one before, now you do 2 transactions for 1 person. Meanwhile, you are not receiving alert. The purpose of getting alert is for you to get a transaction history of your finance. Now, if you are not getting alert, how will you now know how much is left in your bank for you to now know how to manage your money? That's another problem. Now, you come to the level of where some person, they say they are just sleeping in the house. All of a sudden, they had an alert, and the money was withdrawn, 2 million. Another one, 2 million. Before you know it, your bank is cleared. Why? Because some intruders hacked your account and all your money is withdrawn. So these are some of the problems that are surrounding the banking sector and the Nigerian banks. And the chairman of Bank Customers Association attributed it to lack of qualified personnel in the banks. And he said some of the skillful bankers have left Nigeria.
The Japa syndrome.
Japa syndrome. And the Director General of Banking Institutions Training Center also collaborated. So the question is, how do we now play safe in our banking sector? You run to this side, you are not safe. Nigeria now, you run to the bank, you are not safe. There's a problem.
Wow. Talking about the Japa syndrome and how the professionals have left, but I don't you think that we still have professionals in our country that can still manage these banks properly, but they are not well paid to want to even work in the banking sector? Or some of them, they don't find their way into the banks because those who are employed based on recommendation and connection.
Who you know.
Aren't these some of the setbacks we are facing? Because if we can't say that a country of over 200 million persons, how many people have jackpot? We still have those who just graduated, fresh graduates who have sound minds. Well, how do you think that the government can step in to make sure we still explore and look out for those qualified hands that are there, that are not being given the opportunity to render their services to the nation?
Yes, there are many ways of doing it. Even if some persons have left the country as a result of the search for greener pastures, you can replace them. Long time ago in this country, we had situations where institutions sent their employees, to various institutions abroad to study and come back. We had the Institute of Insurance at Liberia that time. Not now that we have schools littered all over the place. Yeah, Institute of Liberia. Insurance in Liberia. Nigerian insurance companies like Niger Insurance and all that. You send your personnel to that place to train. After 2 years, they come back and mind your position. You had the Nigerian Post Authority sending employees of Nigerian Post Authority to Institute of Transport London to train. After 2 years, they come back. Bankers were sent to London to train. After that, you come back. Maybe we study leave. So now
we're investing in them.
Yes. What stops the Nigerian banks from sending their personnel for training? Because nobody brings their students from heaven or somewhere. You are not born with it. So if you train your staff because you want them to perform in particular areas, go to places and send them. For example, now in the area of software providers, if you want somebody to manage your IT department, for instance, ensure that person understands your software very well. If he doesn't, even if you purchase the software from London or America, send out your staff to that place to study how the software is working. If you cannot send in there, bring those experts from London and America to Nigeria to train your staff, your personnel. Now, in training them, they will be able to understand these systems as they are working. But beyond that, you must pay them very well. Because it is the payment, the salary and the remuneration you give them now that determines whether they will jackpot or they will remain with you. Now, in the case of those strange alerts that withdraws the people's money, if the banks are sensitive enough, the software that allows you to withdraw online can also be the software that will inquire from you whether you have authorized the withdrawal of your money online. Also, for example, now, if I want to use my ATM card now to withdraw money, the system will understand that this is ATM withdrawal. The first alert I should get will be debit transaction about to take place in your account. Allow, deny. Now, if you click on allow, which means it's your own now, you allow, then the transaction can continue. If you click deny, the transaction stops. So, therefore, if another person is also trying to withdraw money from my account, and that alert comes to me, and I see it, debit transaction about to take place in my account. No. I press disallow or deny. And the transaction is set on hold, and the man is frustrated. But now there is a porous arrangement wherein somebody can withdraw, I can withdraw.
There's when they even do that somebody can actually withdraw without you even getting alert.
Exactly. So
they can block you from your own account, cut you off from your own alert. Disclaimer though. Now, something I also researched is that those who have indulged in it were apprehended. But we now have where some young some youths who are in the banking sector now connive with some hackers to block the receivers, the owner of the account, from receiving an alert because they want to carry out some fraudulent activities on that account.
Yes.
You know, now that makes me to, apart from the fact that we talked about in paying them well, because if you are well paid, you won't be thinking of how to defraud someone else. All right. Then also the idea of Nigeria professional organizations employing professionals different from their field. For instance, in the banking sector, you have someone who's working there who studied agriculture. Do you understand? So what does someone who a graduate of agriculture or a graduate of fishery have to do with customer care or teller services in the bank? How would the government also fix this? Just because that person studied agriculture is related to the manager or to the MD or with one kind of connection? How do we block that kind of injustice? Because if those people are stopped, the professionals, the graduates of probably business administration, banking and finance, marketing and all that, they will get jobs, and of course will bring in their expertise into the job. Even though we know that some graduates we have nowadays are just paper graduates, they know absolutely nothing. But it's a lesser risk to take.
No, let me defend the banks on that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, because in the banking sector, when you see sometimes, somebody who studied agriculture working in the bank, now sometimes this person made a very good result.
Okay.
And is someone that is trainable. They will train you and you can pick it up. Because before we used to have what we call clerical staff.
Okay.
You were employed in the bank as a clerk. But today now there's nobody that is a clerk. You know, clerks were people who were with their school certificates. In ministry, they were on O level, O4, for example. But today now, everybody in the bank, many of them, except very few, are graduates. So there's nothing like a clerk or officer. All of them are graduates. So a graduate that is performing a clerical job that was supposed to be performed by somebody who probably has 2 credits or even 1 credit in the past, it should not be difficult for him to do that job. You know, for example, now someone who is a teller. Teller work used to be for school certificate holders, but now you have people with MSc. So for that, I can give it to them. That's not the problem. But the problem is that these people that you are bringing in, you don't train them. If you train them, they will be able to do the job very well. In banks, you should have training centers. There's nothing wrong in maybe like a bank in Delta State now, for example, having a training center for their bank staff in Delta. So every time there's update in what is happening in your bank, new things are coming up, new things are being taught, and the people are embracing it. But nobody is doing all those things. So there is not enough training for bankers.
Okay. Oh well, I think you actually made a very good point there and came to the defense of the banks. So I believe the banks should endorse Augusto Milo as one of the ambassadors. When they do, please contact me. I'm your attorney. All right. So that's as much as we can take for this episode. Please don't forget to like, share, drop your comments, and subscribe. And also do click on the notification button to get similar prompt updates on Global TV Live. Thank you.